I'm Dr. Stephanie Whalen with Troy Equine Services. I'll be showing you how to apply ointment to your horse's eyes. The supplies that you will need are some dry gauze squares or a clean, soft cloth, the prescribed eye ointment, medical gloves that fit you well, and I find some small treats are very helpful as a reward to encourage the horse's cooperation. And if you're a person who wears glasses to read or for any fine detail work, but you don't typically wear your glasses when you're in around the barn, it'll be really helpful to have your glasses for this so you can aim well at your horse's eyes. To apply the ointment, our steps are, our patient's getting a little bit snoozy here, but I always like to check and see if the eyelids are already damp from discharge or tearing or any previous medication. That would make the eyelids slippery and difficult for you to grip. So if they're damp, we just want to give them a nice dab to dry them off. Then we're going to apply a glove. I find that I prefer to manipulate the eyelids with my non-dominant hand and apply the ointment with my dominant hand. Some personal preference with that. You may find otherwise for yourself. And then I'm going to apply the ointment to the very tip of my finger. If you apply it to the pad of your finger, I find that more difficult to actually get it into the eye. So we're going with a little strip right on the tip of the finger, and then coming up to the patient, I'm going to be using my index finger in the crease of the upper eyelid and my side of my thumb on the lower eyelid, and we're aiming to make a small gap or space at the front corner of the eye that we can deposit the ointment into. This mare is very accustomed to eye meds, so she's very cooperative. She knows that a small treat is coming afterwards, but it can take some patience and some careful repetition with your horse if it's new for them. And if they have a painful eye condition, sometimes it's a case of adjusting their pain medications and their treatments so that they can cooperate. So we're going to also start with a bent index finger rather than a straight positioned finger, because that means we still have some range of motion to actually lift the eyelid. And it's also helpful to remember that around the eyeball is a nice solid bony eye socket. And so if we're pushing upward towards that, it can help us brace against the very strong eyelid. The other important thing is to either have the horse well restrained in crossed eyes, if your horse is good in crossed eyes, or a second person to help handle the horse. So I'm going with actually kind of the front of my fingernail on my index finger, with my index finger bent to start with. And then I'm stretching my finger up, pushing against that upper eyelid, and coming in the front corner of the eye with that ointment and depositing that there. For the opposite side, I find that I still use my non-dominant hand to open the eyelids and my dominant hand for the eye ointment, but it is a little bit different positioning of your hands. So we're going to again use the tip of our index finger in the crease of the upper eyelid and side of the thumb on the lower lid. And then she's a little trickier for me on this side. There we go. Here's our ointment in the front corner of the eye. Good girl. If you find that the ointment is staying attached to your finger, you can use your fingers to actually try to close the eyelids and pinch the ointment off of your gloved hand. Good girl.